Hey, and welcome to our first topic video of the 2022 season. Today we're talking about momentum. Sorry about no video last week. Life, work, just got in the way. I'll try and roll out a bonus video this week if I can. So hopefully be on the lookout for that. So with exception, it's important to remember that exception, it is not a rule. It's actually an exception to a rule. Specifically 852A, but there's a definition verbatim of exception, of momentum exception. You all can read. I'm not going to sit there and read it to you, but the important aspects to remember of momentum is a defensive player that can intercept a forward pass or recover a fumble or backward pass. Or the most common way that we see it is an R player catches or recovers a scrimmage kick between the 5-yard line and the goal line. So if any of those three scenarios happen, if that original momentum carries them into the end zone, the ball never leaves the end zone, and it becomes dead in the end zone, or it goes out of bounds, then we go back to the momentum spot. So those are your main things to remember. It has to enter the end zone under the original momentum. It can't leave the end zone, and then it has to be declared dead in the end zone in the possession of team R or B, or goes out of bounds. You bring it back. It's important to remember that as we look at some of these scenarios. These are just 9 scenarios. Try to cover everything, but I'm sure there's some that aren't covered in here. But the most important one, or one you see the most often, number 1. So in all these, it could be a team player, team B player, or R. Intercepts or recovers between the 5 and the goal line. Momentum carries them into the end zone. They're ruled down. Come back to momentum spot. Pretty simple. And mechanically, we beanbag the spot of momentum. So if they catch it at 3, momentum carries them in, we beanbag to 3. Number 2, they go in the end zone, they fumble in the end zone, and the ball is recovered by R or B, still go to the momentum spot. They go in the end zone, they fumble in the end zone, and then K or A recovers the ball. Then you have a touchdown. Again, this is all if the ball never leaves. So for number 4 specifically, they're in the end zone, they fumble forward into the field of play, and either K or R recovers it. Then it's going to be the team that recovered it, their ball at the spot, because the ball has been fumbled out of the end zone into the field of play. So now momentum's gone. So you're going to go to the spot of recovery. They're in the end zone, they fumble forward into the field of play, it goes out of bounds. It's going to belong to R or B where it went out of bounds. So since no team recovered it, then it's retained by the team that fumbled it. Where are we at? Number 6. Fumbles while in the end zone, the ball goes out of the end zone, you still go to the momentum spot. Remember to go back to the exception rule. It does say ball is declared dead or goes out of bounds. So in situation 6, where they fumble there in the end zone, they fumble it out of bounds, it's going to go to the momentum spot. So 7, 8, 9, a little bit tricky. So before entering the end zone, so they catch it between the 5 and the goal line, so that you have possession, you have control, and they fumble it. Before going into the end zone, they fumble it. So they go from the field of play, and they fumble it into and out of the back of the end zone. This situation, you have a safety, because the original momentum did not carry the ball into the end zone. They fumbled it before they got into the end zone. So you just have basically a fumble out of the end zone. Number 8, same thing, before they get into the end zone. So they have possession and control of the ball between the 5 and the goal line before they get into the end zone. And they fumble it from the field of play into the end zone, and then R recovers it. You still have a safety. Again, since the original momentum did not carry that ball into the end zone, remember it was fumbled into the end zone, then momentum is off the table. So in this situation, you have a safety. It's still not a kick because you have possession and control. Then the ball's fumbled. So it goes into the end zone, it's a live ball. R just falls on it. It's a safety. Then number 9, same situation, before in the end zone, you fumble from the field of play into the end zone, and K recovers it. Then you have a touchdown. Again, the original momentum did not carry the ball into the end zone. So it's just a live ball in the end zone. Now, practically, if you can, just make this a touchback. You'll live longer. If you can. Obviously, if the situation dictates that is a clear catch recovery, or catch and let me start over. If it is, the situation dictates it is clearly catch, possession, control, then they fumble it before they get in the end zone. Obviously, you got to go with that. But if it's close, if you can, and make this a touchback, you just live longer. Okay, so if you have a penalty during your play where there's a momentum exception, and the momentum exception is in effect, so we have a change of possession that occurs in the field of play between the 5-yard line and the goal line, and the ball belongs to B in the end zone, and a foul occurs after that change of possession. Your basic spot is the spot of momentum. And if the momentum exception is not in effect and you have a penalty, basic spot becomes the end of the run or the goal line, depending on the situation. Okay, so momentum exception, if it's in effect and the foul occurs after the change of possession, basic spot is the spot of momentum. If momentum exception is not in effect, your basic spot in the run or the goal line, again depending on the situation. So you don't get a lot of film on momentum because it's so rare that it happens. But I do have this one from a while ago. Obviously, first of all, we would rather be, just mechanically speaking, we would rather already be on the goal line, standing there waiting on this. But it didn't happen in this situation. So you have it. Alright, so a couple things we did wrong here. So we are inside the 5. We have possession. He's got control before he gets into the goal line. Now, some people have asked me, is this close enough where you would actually kill it? Not really, because he's on the 2 when he catches it. So, that's enough time to establish possession and control. So you have possession and control. So we should have a beanbag at about the 2. And then we just let this pour out. Now, mechanically, as deep as we want to set up on the goal line, stay on the goal line. If this is a crew of 6, goal line, stay on the goal line. If this is a crew of 7, if they'll just side judge, you get on the goal line. Back judge, you get on the end line. That way, ball goes out of the end zone. We can see the ball's out of the end zone. Field judge, side judge, they have the goal line. Crew of 6, stay on that goal line. End line becomes a threat. Get in position where you can see it, but just do the best you can. And of course, you would let this play out because he can run this out. And remember, if his original momentum takes him to the end zone, he can run around back here all day if he wants. If he never leaves the end zone, then we still go to the spot momentum. So if this play were correctly officiated, you would have a beanbag about the 2 and let this play out. Because technically this is an inverted whistle. If you want to really go by the nuts and bolts. So let it play out. Because also you have a foul, which obviously would change things. So a lot can happen once they get into the end zone. So you gotta let it play out. If he's tackled in the end zone, like it was here, obviously after they killed it, but that's when you bring it to the momentum. Of course, like I said, if you have fouls, momentum, the basic spot. If the foul is after change of possession, basic spot momentum. Momentum exception is not in effect, then it's goal line or end of the run. So hopefully that covered everything on momentum. Or maybe not everything, but enough to get you started, get you going. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, other button works too.